Okay, let's get on the same page here. Welcome to Fast Rocket. This is an educational curriculum and podcast designed to demonstrate to you how I, over a 4-year period, have totally reversed my type 2 diabetes and lost 70 pounds in the process, and more importantly, kept the weight off. How did I do it? Through intermittent fasting. Let's go. What is fasting anyway? Exactly. All right, we'll start there. It's something very simple, something that we do every day and perhaps don't even know that we do it. And it's something that endothermics have been doing for 1,000,000 years. Literally. Yes, I said endothermics. I just learned that word yesterday. I was dying to use it. I know. Fasting is the voluntary refrainment or postponement of eating for a specific period of time. Simple. A phenomenon called intermittent fasting is currently one of the most popular health and fitness and wellness trends in the world, literally. It involves alternating cycles of eating and fasting. I prefer to call them windows. We all have a feeding window, at which time we eat, obviously, and we all have a fasting window, a chunk of time in which we don't eat. There are many studies that suggest this can result in healthy weight loss. I am a walking example. Improve metabolic health, protect against disease, and perhaps even live longer. Remember, 2 windows: feeding window, fasting window. This is very important. We'll get to those in a minute. I got a clever comment on one of my posts from a lady named Adeline. Okay, Fast Rocket, if that's your real name, can you tell me more about intermittent fasting? I've heard a lot about it. I'm so eager to learn and to get started. Thank you, Adeline, for the question. The answer is yes, I can. That's what Fast Rocket was created for, was to help people who are interested and who've tried everything with little result. And that's what this program is for. But I want you to hold up a second because I want to give you some glossary terms and groundwork that will help you understand this amazing process. Macronutrients. Now, I know that you know what those are, but there might be a couple of people who do not. I want everybody to start on the same page. Most natural food comprised of carbohydrate, protein, and fat. Now, I'm going to do separate videos on protein and fat. Tonight, we're just going to deal with carbohydrate. Here's something that's important, and you're going to hear me say a lot over the course of this course. High blood sugar. Let me set the table for you. You have just eaten a big old fat burrito, all right? A giant tortilla to make that burrito is 44 grams of carbohydrate. And that's not taking into consideration the rice, the beans, the chips, the dips. Right there we have upwards of 100 to 200 grams of carbohydrate. All right? That's if you have just one. All right, that carbohydrate gets converted into glucose in your bloodstream, which is sugar. Now, here's an important footnote to all this. Here's where an amazing thing happens. The pancreas releases a hormone called insulin. This hormone's only job is to store that leftover glucose as fat. All right? Here's the takeaway. Insulin, the hormone insulin, stores excess glucose as fat. That's its job. It's not a side job. It's not a side hustle. It's its main job, and it works 24/7. All right? A lot of people don't know this, but the name insulin comes from the Greek god Insulonicus, the storer of fat. No, sorry. I couldn't resist. Okay. So let me just address a little bit how we become overweight if we're otherwise healthy. I don't know whether that's a contradiction of terms or not, but because our bodies store excess glucose as fat. And here's where it gets interesting and dangerous. The body is designed to eventually use that stored energy as fuel. Here's the kicker and the problem. The problem is most of the time the body can't get to it. It can't access that stored fat, that stored energy. It can't even see it when insulin is present in your bloodstream, because insulin is there for only one reason, and that is to store more fat. It can't do both of them. You follow? Because the standard American diet is so toxic with carbohydrate, and our feeding window, remember that, is so out of whack and so out of proportion to our fasting window, all the stored energy rarely gets burned. So it just sits there. It just sits there on your body, on your belly, on your back, on your thighs, on your butt, everywhere, getting bigger and bigger. And we get sicker and sicker. Now multiply that times weeks and months and years and decades. And that's how we become fatter and fatter and fatter. And that's how we eventually become obese. The standard American diet has a feeding window that looks like this. This. Let's make it. Can't see my hands here. This. There we go. Boom. There's the feeding window. Right? Boom. It's huge. The fasting window is like this. It's right here. Now, in order for us to be healthy, we need to reverse that so that the feeding window is here and the fasting window is here, right? We need to flip it. And we don't do a very good job of that in our American diet. For example, it takes 6 to 8 hours for our body to fully digest and complete and prepare for elimination a meal. 6 to 8 hours. All right? Let me give you an example of the standard American diet. Boom, 7 o'clock. We're up early. Oh my God, I'm running a little late. I got to get the kids to school. You grab a little coffee. You're trying to get your kids dressed. You grab a bagel or a piece of toast, maybe some orange juice to have a little energy. You're out the door. By 9:30 at work, you are crashing from that sugar. And oh my God, if I don't get something, I'm going to die. Can you relate? Sure you can. And you run into the coffee room and oh my God, somebody brought muffins. Yay. Right? So you wolf down a muffin. And so now that'll get you to about 12:30 for lunch, right? And by this time you're crashing again. And what are you crashing? What are you hungry for? More sugar. Can you relate to this? You have lunch, and that'll get you to 3:30 to 4 o'clock. And then you start to crash again because, well, your body is wanting sugar because that's what you've been feeding it, right? And so, oh man, you just remembered those peanut butter crackers in your purse. You grab them, you wolf them down, you get home, you fix dinner, and there it is, 7 o'clock, you have dinner, and what a day. Finally get the kids to bed. I'm tired, honey. I'm going to bed. And you walk past the kitchen, and there you see those 2 little pieces of Snicker bites from Halloween. Am I right? Did I just describe your day? Or did I just describe a day that you can relate to? Of course I did. We all can relate to that. And you wolf down those 2 little Snicker bites. So your feeding window has been from 7 o'clock in the morning to 11:30 at night because you are craving sugar. It's sad. Now multiply that times, as I said, days, weeks, months, decades. Oh, man, that's how we get in severe trouble with our health. Okay. A typical fasting window and feeding window looks like this. 12-hour feeding window, 12-hour fasting window. That makes sense, right? That has some symmetry and some balance. Or an 8-hour feeding window and a 16-hour fasting window. How about this? A 6-hour feeding window and an 18-hour fasting window, a 4-hour feeding window, and a 20-hour fasting window. You start to get the idea, right? In order to be healthy, what we have to do is learn to manage our blood sugar so that we can inhibit the rampant insulin response that our body gives to that blood sugar. Now, why does it do this? Well, because if you leave the blood sugar unattended in your blood too long, then it starts to damage the blood vessels in your body, then the arteries, then the organs, your heart, your kidneys, your liver. And then that's when type 2 diabetes sets in, with the eyesight issues, the kidney issues, the neuropathy issues. I have all those things. I had all of those things. And that's why fasting is important, because it is a very simple and powerful way to reduce the insulin responses in your body, because you're taking in less carbs more often. Did I say that right? Remember your feeding windows. Okay? Small feeding window, large fasting window. That's how you control your insulin. When you can control your insulin, you can do amazing things with your body weight and with your metabolic health. So here's your homework for tonight. Figure out what time you stopped eating tonight and simply try to get a 12-hour fast in the morning. See, that's the cool part. Most of that time is going to be sleeping. It's pretty simple. You don't have to work hard at it. Not at this stage, anyway. For example, if you stopped eating tonight at 7 o'clock, don't eat again until 7 o'clock in the morning. Right? Pretty simple. If you stopped at 8, don't eat until 8 o'clock in the morning. Choose your own time. It doesn't really matter. And when you hit that 12-hour mark, guess what? Celebrate a little bit. And you know what else? You'll be burning body fat at that time, because all the glucose will be used up. And that's what your body does. Now your body, after 12 hours, can see the stored body fat. It can access it. Now, that little piece of information is really empowering, I think. When I found that out, when I learned that, the whole world of weight loss and good health opened up to me. Why, you might even feel so good and positive about that, you might even want to extend it to 13 hours. Woohoo! Look at you showing off. And for now, seriously, don't worry about what you're eating. Just be mindful of your feeding windows. Small feeding window, large fasting window. Small feeding, larger fasting. Good luck. Let me know how it worked out. I'm very curious and very interested. I'll be back tomorrow night with part 2 of the basics in this 5-part series on intermittent fasting. I hope you'll watch. If you like the channel, please subscribe. Tell your friends. I'll see you tomorrow.